Hey guys, so I'm Josh Smallwood, and I'm going to read an excerpt from one of my favorite books called The Underneath by Kathi Appelt. And the reason I chose this was like the first book that was ever mine. My grandma gave me this 6 years ago when I had this long car ride to some campsite, and she gave it to me, and it was like mine, and it could go on my bookshelf, and that was really cool, and I love that. And that's why when I saw the assignment that I need to read something, this automatically popped into my head because it was my first book. So I'm going to read chapter 2, which is basically describing this tree, and I just thought it was really poetic and really cool. So I'm going to read that for you guys. Here we go. Ah, the trees. On the other side of the forest, there's an old loblolly tree. Once it was the tallest tree in the forest. 100 feet up it reached, right up to the clouds, right beneath the stars. Such a tree. Now broken in half, it stands beside the creek called the Little Sorrowful. Trees are the keepers of stories. If you could understand the language of oak and elm and tallow, they might tell you about another storm, an earlier one, 25 years ago to be exact. A storm that barreled across the sky, filling up the streams and the bayous, how it dipped and charged, rushed through the boughs. Its black clouds were enormous, thick and heavy with the water it had scooped up from the Gulf of Mexico due south of here, swirling its way north, where it sucked up more moisture from the Sabine River to the east, the river that divided Texas and Louisiana. This tree, 1,000 years old, huge and wide, straight and true, would say how it lifted its branches and welcomed the heavy rain, how it shivered as the cold water ran down its trunk and washed the dust from its long needles, how it sighed in that coolness. But then, in that dwindling of rain, that calming of wind, that solid darkness, a rogue bolt of lightning zipped from the clouds and struck. Bark flew in splinters, the trunk sizzled from the top of the crown to the deepest roots. The bolt pierced the very center of the tree. A tree as old as this has a large and sturdy heart, but it is no match for 1,000,000,000 volts of electricity. The giant tree trembled for a full minute. A shower of sparks and wood fell to the wet forest floor. Then it stood completely still. A smaller tree might have jumped, might have spun and spun and spun until it crashed onto the earth. Not this pine, this loblolly tree, rooted so deep into the clay beside the creek. It simply stood beneath the blue-black sky while steam boiled from the gash 60 feet up, an open wound. This pine did not fall to the earth or slide into the creek, not then, and not now. It still stands. Most of its branches have cracked and fallen. The upper stories have long ago tumbled to the forest floor. Some of them have slipped into the creek and drifted downstream, down to the Silver Sabine, down to the Gulf of Mexico, down. But the trunk remains, tall and hollow, straight and true, right here on the Little Sorrowful, just a mile or so from a calico cat, curled inside her dry nest, while the rain falls all around. Anyways, I just thought that was really cool and poetic, and yeah.